Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today's lecture is regarding Article 204 of the Constitution, which deals the contempt of court. We will learn today what are the categories of contempt and in which cases a person can be punished under Article 204 of the Constitution. My name is Ghulam Sajjad Gopang. I am MBA Finance first position holder from IBA University of St. Jamshoro. I am LLB first position holder from IBA University of St. Jamshoro. I am LLB first position from Qaid-e-Azam Law College, Nawab Shah, Sindh. I am the first advocate Supreme Court in the history of Nawab Shah Bar Association, and I am the youngest advocate in the history of Supreme Court of Pakistan. I am mainly practicing at Supreme Court Islamabad, having more than 1000 cases at Supreme Court and having more than 100 cases reported in PLD law books of Pakistan. Three of most famous cases are reported in 2019 SCMR 2063. My second famous case is reported in PLD 2020 Supreme Court 293, and my third and the latest one is reported in PLD 2022 Supreme Court page number 64. My WhatsApp number is 0333 268 2662. Due to busy schedule of cases, I cannot attend calls, so all of you are always requested by me in every lecture to drop a message on my WhatsApp number, and as soon as I along with my legal team will be free from busy schedule, we will coordinate you and guide you. Today's topic is Article 204 of the Constitution, which deals the contempt of court. Let's be very clear that contempt can be categorized in four shapes. Number one is to scandalize, humiliate institution of court, Supreme Court or High Court, toto. Number two is to scandalize or humiliate any judge of Honorable High Court or Supreme Court, sitting judge. Let it be very clear, any sitting judge of Honorable High Court or Supreme Court. And the third category is not to refuse to implement the order of the court or create any hindrances in proceeding of the court or discuss in shape of a humiliation on any case which is pending under trial, under proceeding before Honorable High Court or Supreme Court or any competent court of law. Now the fourth category is interpretation and discussion over the judgment of the court. Let it be very clear that criticism for the sake of improvement is not only allowed by the Honorable Supreme Court but always encouraged, because no one is above the law. If any judgment or order is passed by any competent court of law, from the court of magistrate up to session court, lower judiciary, or from the justice of Honorable High Court up to the Chief Justice of Pakistan, if any judgment, any final verdict, any final judgment which is passed by the Honorable Supreme Court or any competent court of law which has attended finality, it becomes a public property. So to discuss it for the sake of improvement, a positive criticism is always appreciated by the courts, that there is always a margin of improvement in every department and every human being, which is a matter of common sense. So it will never amount to the contempt of any court. Let's read the bare section of the Article 204. In this article, court means Supreme Court or High Court. 204 subclass 2, a court shall have power to punish any persons who, A. Abuses, interferes with or obstructs the process of the court in any way or disobeys any order of the court. B. Scandalizes the court or otherwise does anything which tends to bring the court or a judge of the court into hatred, ridicule or contempt. C is if he does anything which tends to prejudice the determination of a matter pending before the court. Now, as I said before, that if any final verdict is passed, any final judgment is passed by any competent court of law, including High Court and Supreme Court, it becomes a public property. You can discuss it. It is not contempt. But if a matter is already prejudiced, it is not decided, it is yet to be decided by the court, so to discuss it, that amounts to the contempt of the court. In the shape of influence, it is observed in several judgments that it appears to be an influence of the court regarding the matter which is already produced. And the D says that if a person does any other thing which by law constitutes contempt of the court. Now, number 3 says that the exercise of the power conferred on a court by this article may be regulated by the law and the subject to law by rules made by the court. This is very important, because let it be very clear that a peon of the court is equally respectable to the Chief Justice of Pakistan. A peon of any office is equally respectable to the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So, in the light of Article 199, fundamental rights guaranteed in the Constitution, no one is above the law and all the citizens of Pakistan are equal. Now comes the sense that whether any comment or any act can easily come within the ambit of contempt, or there are some restrictions. In the case of 2019 SCMR page number 542, Honorable Supreme Court has held that object of the court while initiating contempt proceeding was not to afford protection to the judges from individuals or to satisfy the ego of a judge by punishing such person. Instead, it was to maintain and order litigants in the court and to vindicate the honor and dignity of the court to ensure the administration of justice. So, whenever you are passing any comment which is positive in the sense, for an instance, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's death sentence case has been always considered to be a black decision. It is a fact. It is a public property. The judgment is a public property. So, history defines any judgment of the court or the law. But in some cases, when you feel that conduct of a judge is corrupt, conduct of the judge is not in accordance with the law and the Constitution, you can avail a legal remedy against him. You can file a complaint against him. You can see my lecture on YouTube in which I have described in detail that how to make a complaint against the judge of a lower judiciary from magistrate up to the session judge, and how to make a complaint or a reference against the judge of Honorable High Court up to Honorable Supreme Court. Justice Qadi Faiz Isa's case is in front of you, and several other cases are in front of you as an example that you can file a complaint by availing a proper remedy, but you cannot scandalize any sitting judge of the court. Then comes the point that if a judge is retired, whether contempt lies if you are discussing his character, then it comes in the law that no. 2022 PLCCS page number 32 of Islamabad High Court and several judgments of Sindh High Court and Honorable Supreme Court. Say PLD 2021 Supreme Court page number 1 and PLD 2021 Supreme Court 671, 2021 SCMR page number 774, 2022 PLC CS page number 32 Islamabad High Court, and 2022 CLC 146 of Islamabad High Court, 2022 PLD Supreme Court, PLD 2022 Karachi page number 51. This is a very important case that you have to study. Criticism of a retired judge. Offense of contempt of court was not attracted in the case of a retired judge because after retirement the latter attained the status of a private person. Now when a judge is retired from his post, his designation, if a person is humiliating him, it does not mean that it is not an offense. It is an offense, but it does not amount to the contempt of court, because the dignity and wisdom is regarding the post of a judge, not the person who is sitting on the post of a judge. So let it be clear that in the shape of contempt of court, number one, if a person is scandalizing a sitting judge of the court, it amounts to contempt of court. In the case of Nihal Hashmi and several other cases, the contempt Yusuf Raza Gilani case and several other cases, Honorable Supreme Court and High Court convicted people, and few judgments were that the conviction is till the rising of the court, just like Yusuf Raza Gilani's case. Although he was not sent to jail to serve 2-3 months just like Nihal Hashmi, but the sentence was awarded and he was punished, and he was declared ineligible to contest in the next elections as well, and the disqualification was up to 5 years in some cases. Now if you are humiliating a sitting judge, it amounts to contempt of court. If you are scandalizing the institution of High Court and Supreme Court or any competent court of law, it does amount to the contempt of court, and the person can be punished in accordance with the law. And if any order is passed, just like contempt applications in the Karachi registry, Nematullah Khan advocate cases, in which circular railway cases and several other cases were decided by the Honorable Supreme Court. Nasla Tower case is also an example in which contempt proceedings were decided and few are pending as well. If any judgment, any order, any direction of any competent court of law up to Honorable Supreme Court is willfully and deliberately violated and not implemented, it means the order is disgraced. So it amounts to contempt of the court. But if the order is not clear, let it be very clear. This point is very important to note. If the order requires clarification, for an instance, the Honorable High Court or Supreme Court directed to remove any construction. Now if the order which is passed does not appear to be a speaking order, and an official feels confusion in it that the Honorable Court has directed to remove the construction of plot A or plot B or plot C, then for the clarification of the order a petition can be filed. But the official cannot just take a rest and does not obey it and let the Honorable Court to issue a notice of contempt to that, and then if he wants to submit his arguments that the order was not clear, this is not the way to treat the order of the court. The way is that if the order is not clear, then the respondent to whom an order has been issued by any competent court of law, from magistrate up to the Honorable Chief Justice of Pakistan, he is binding under the law. Or I have given a lecture on Article 4 and 5 of the Constitution, which is also available, that under Article 190, all the public functionaries are duty bound to implement the orders of the Honorable Supreme Court. The public functionaries of executive as well as the judiciary. So at the end, I want to repeat this point, that if any person is discussing the judgment of Honorable High Court or Supreme Court for the sake of improvement, it is the right of every citizen of Pakistan to discuss the judgment, interpret in his own positive way. This is not an act which can amount to be the contempt of court, because whenever any final verdict, final judgment is passed by the Honorable High Court and Supreme Court, it becomes a public